Hey everybody, welcome to Rock, Paper, Hand Grenades. Matt Connerton here with, as always, Gary S. Hopper, the Honorable Gary S. Hopper. Are you still honorable when you're not in session? How does that work? We have a blue screen in back of us. How does that work? Not that.
What, the blue screen? I don't know how the blue screen works.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know. Am I honorable when I'm not in session?
Yes.
Wow.
Is that like a consistent thing that just kind of sticks with you?
Technically, I think on paper I am.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
But whether or not I am, like for instance today, a friend of mine from Italy was commenting on one of my posts on Facebook and said that that's as bad as a 15-cent hooker.
Uh-huh.
And so I Facebook back, so I'm moving to Italy.
Yeah.
Right? So
well, that's
probably not that
so
honorable. That's not, no. So some of my jokes are less than honorable.
15-cent hooker, you can get that here.
It's 2-bit, I think, is within the West.
Oh, right, yes.
Oh, yeah, that was actually kind of sad. I don't like making fun of stuff like that, but there was a don't be a jerk,
Sorry.
man. So there was that guy who was just starting a church in Goffstown, and he got caught in a sting or whatever. Picking up a prostitute in Manchester.
Really?
That's horrible.
How did that turn out for him?
Not good. Because he had just started that church like a few weeks before. And
whoever said all publicity is good publicity, never met that guy.
Never was a pastor.
That's right.
That probably would have done me okay for running for state rep, but, you know.
That's a little different.
Yeah.
Especially if you're from New York.
If you're from New York, yeah. That's right, too. No, except, yeah, anyway. So,
It's all kinds of variables.
Yes. So I don't know how to answer that question, honestly.
No, it's better not to answer it honestly.
I'm actually a politician, so I don't know how to answer any question, honestly, actually. Unless that was being honest.
Ooh, such a tangled web.
I know, it is. Anyway, tonight I invited my friend and a state rep from Goofystown, Representative John Burt,
Yes.
who was successful in your... I won last night.
You did? In your primary?
In my primary. I won in my primary. There's 3 of us running for 3 seats, and somehow I made it.
Well, that's good.
Yes, I don't know. It's like the numbers... Huh?
There was 8 of us running for 5 seats.
I know. You guys had a Donnybrook down there.
Oh, we did.
But anyway, while I was walking to the show tonight, I met Jillian, who was outside protesting, and I wasn't quite sure what, but I figured I'd ask. And then I thought for a second. I said, "Well, let her come on TV and explain why were you outside." It was a nice day to be outside protesting, by the way.
You should, Jillian. Your mic is like really far away.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
Jillian Dubois. Sorry.
Dubois?
Me.
Yes.
So anyway, we were outside of Frank Ginta's office today because he has recently voted to give tax breaks to the top 2% millionaires of an average of $160,000, and we just really think that that money should be better spent on shoring up programs like Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, education, things like that, instead of going to millionaires who probably don't need an extra $160,000.
Oh, everybody can always use $150,000.
I'm sure they could
That's
find
crazy talk.
Yeah,
I'm sure they could find ways to spend it.
Times are tough, Jillian. Those millionaires.
yeah.
Come
You
on.
don't know how much it costs to wax a Beamer. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Or install a car elevator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's selfish of you. But anyway, so
Yeah, Jillian.
so now how yeah. This proves that I'm not prejudiced. See what we have a French person on.
Oh yeah. How do you
Dubois.
Dubois.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say it whichever way.
Yeah.
Dubois or Dubois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dubois is probably really technically correct, though, right?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
probably
my
technically.
husband's name, so I wasn't really in charge of how you pronounce it.
So,
Oh, okay.
so you're not French.
No, I am. I actually am. My
you don't have to. You don't have to apologize for
no,
it.
no.
But
Yeah, why are you so defensive?
No, my mom's maiden name is Saint Ange.
oh,
and
okay,
they're
okay.
from Manchester,
That's
yeah.
wicked French. Yeah, so
Very
you're
wicked
like
French.
mega
That's
French.
my wife's maiden name.
Oh, really? Maybe they're
Goffstown
related.
St. Ange.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're.
There's about 800 of them over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If not, thousands.
So yeah, actually, you should be changing
small
your name to your wife's name if
I
you want to run
should.
for office. So
I
you don't even
should.
have to. You don't have to put up a sign.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you're protesting that. What else? How did it go today? By the way, protesting.
Great. Yeah, we got to talk to a lot of people. And it was kind of funny timing. We didn't realize, but it was a taste of Manchester.
Okay. Okay.
So there were a lot of people walking by. We got to have some conversation. So yeah, I think it went pretty well.
You like doing? Is this your first protest, or you've been involved in this for a while? or-
Yeah, I've been working with New Hampshire Citizens Alliance for Action since before the primaries this year. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now you're not affiliated with the Occupy Main Street thing, or
No, I mean
did you do that?
we're not technically affiliated, but I mean we agree with them on a number of issues. So sometimes we show up at their things, they show up at our things. We're all.
But you don't support any specific candidate. You're an issue organization.
Yeah, I mean, we're an issue organization. We're nonpartisan. We don't care what color you are, red, blue, purple, green, black, whatever. As long as
Green's pretty ridiculous.
I'll tell you
as
what.
long as you support the issues that
I'll tell
we
you what.
think are
Those
important.
people.
Yeah,
fine.
I hate those green people.
Yes, that's my one
Little
prejudice.
cotton picking leprechaun buggers.
I don't trust them.
I wouldn't. Running around with their pots of gold and all that stuff.
Yep.
That's who we should be taxing.
Yes. The green people.
The green
Yeah, well,
people.
they got the money. They're so green.
Exactly. And they're envious.
Yes.
Now, where
Yes.
did Shaheen vote on this?
Well, this was a House bill, so
What is she going to vote?
I am not sure. You could ask her though.
She won't return my call.
No,
No, nor will anybody else.
burnt that
Joe.
bridge.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so you had fun. You got your message out.
Yeah,
I will tell you just fundamentally why I disagree with you,
sure.
and not to get argumentative, but fundamentally, as I believe that government should be structured so that the town has as much money as it needs, and most taxes are paid in the town that you live, for schools, for everything else. The only exception to that are things that the town cannot do, which would be interstate, city or state highways and things like. It really can't be expected to be responsible for that, and that's when the state comes in, or for instance, the state police, highway department, things like that. And that the state government should only be responsible for those things that the towns can't do themselves. Okay? And to me, the fact that the federal government has enough money to give tax breaks to anybody is offensive.
Well,
They
I don't
should-
think they have enough money. Look at how much debt they're in, and they're giving tax breaks
exactly.
to people.
Well, but that's part of the problem. Is what happens is you have a federal government that over the years has collected so much money that they owe so much money, and they pay out so much money. They should have never gotten that money to begin with.
Yeah.
That all should have been controlled either by the city, the town, or the state. And none of that this shouldn't be an issue. So in some regard, I do agree with you, but I agree in that they shouldn't have gotten the money to begin with to give it back to anybody.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's tricky because, we've gotten so big, and it's kind of, you got to take everything down at once, or else, it doesn't work. So
yeah, it's dismantling it is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, if we had we went converted back to local control of as much as possible.
Yeah.
There is so much money in D.C. is why so many of them are on the take.
Right.
Oh yeah, our
And-
Congress is completely bought and paid
It's
for.
bought
both
and paid
parties.
for. Both
Yeah.
parties. It's not
Yeah.
a Republican Democrat issue. This is those guys are bought and paid for. And I don't mean all of them. I'm sure there are some honest ones. It's like lawyers. It really offends me that 90% of the lawyers do things that impugn the character of 10% of the good lawyers.
Yeah, but I mean,
Get
there
it
are
10%,
people
there's
who
only
really
10%
depend
that are
on.
good, the 90% are bad.
Yeah, but there are people who really depend on a lot of these federal programs. You ask around how many people, have Medicare, and what would they do without it, or Social Security. So I think that it's tricky to say, okay, let's get rid of these federal programs when what's going to happen to these people who depended on this in their retirement. So,
Oh, I agree.
And
But
who paid money into the system.
Right, exactly.
And are going to get nothing for it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
well-
we're trying to make sure they don't get nothing for
Right,
it.
right.
So
no, I agree. I just think that most of that stuff would be better if it was controlled by the state or town or city, because it's just sending that much money up there it has to corrupt. You know what I mean? I'm uncorruptible. No, I guess I'm not. Never mind. So
You take lasagna.
I
when
take
offered.
lasagna. I
Yes,
know.
yes.
At the state level, I vote for food. I'm gonna get a sign. I can do that. I can do that on the steps of the state house. I keep meaning to do that when got my suit and tie on.
Yeah.
And a big sign, like one of the signs you're holding for protesting, says "We'll vote for food."
Yeah. That's a good
now, is
idea.
that legal? Are lobbyists allowed to give you lasagna in exchange for
As
votes on
long
bills?
was it $25, right, John?
$24.99.
$24.99 and under, we're okay.
So a $24 lasagna is
That's
fine.
a good lasagna. That's a lot of lasagna.
Well, I offered
Well, a
everybody.
couple trips to Olive Garden.
I offered everybody a hot
couple
dog if
trips
they
to
voted with me.
Yeah, you did.
I
You did.
I think it was questionable, but I survived.
Yeah. I know. That's what I lost respect for you, because you didn't give me enough.
Well,
I was trying to get $25 worth of hot dogs, or $24.99. It was just like I was
Yes,
getting
yes.
sick.
That's a lot
After
of
a
hot
couple
dogs.
dozen. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you for coming on, and it was just kind of cool that you were out there, and like we were talking before on the street, I've got a lot more even though I disagree with you fundamentally, I have a lot more respect for somebody like you who actually goes out and is trying to make a difference, is involved and is learning about and educating themselves about the issues, getting involved and getting active, than people who complain about politicians sitting on the couch watching, Monday Night Football.
Yeah, or watching this. Go vote.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I always say, the greatest threat to our liberty is apathy.
Yep.
It's
true.
So whether I agree
Yeah,
or
but
not,
I don't care what you say.
Right. You're apathetic about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Huh.
But thank you very much, young lady.
Thanks.
And keep going. Keep up the good work. Eventually, you'll turn over to the right side of this issue. But
I don't know about that one, but
You haven't,
thanks.
you haven't turned
Thanks
me
for
yet.
having me.
It actually doesn't sound like you disagree as much as though you're saying you do.
no, not really. I don't. I mean, I think I disagree on where the money should go to begin with.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? In other words, if the state or local government controlled a lot of the health care or the social services, you would have I'll give you an example how ridiculous this is. I have glaucoma and was going blind, and am going blind. I went to the state. It was difficult to even talk to somebody at the state level about this, because the state is the one who implements the Social Security and things like that, but it's controlled by federal guidelines. So you have people who work for the state theoretically who are told what to do by the federal government,
Yeah.
so they've got two masters, so to speak. I went to them, I said, look, I'm going blind. I know that there is going to reach a point very soon where I cannot be a tool maker and or machinist, because I'm one of the blue collar guys up in the State House. And it would be logical to me if you could start helping me transition to something else, and instead of giving me full benefits for disability, give me like partial benefits, and I'll earn some of it and gradually wean my way off. We can't do that.
Right.
Well, why not? That would be logical. That would be practical. That would save the state money, the government money, the federal government money, keep me employed.
That's not how government
That's
runs.
not that's not how the rules work. You have to be completely disabled. 5 months after that, you then qualify for disability, and it's just it's insane. It's insane. But if take that same scenario, I go down to the town clerk and say, look, I'm going blind. I'm going to lose my job. What can you do? it's very possible they might know somebody that could use somebody that's, has my kind of skill set, or even if it was more of a regional or county or as local as possible, it's dealable with.
Yeah.
But I mean, they can have crazy rules at the state level too. So, I mean, I think that's more
Yes,
a
but
matter of the
you-
rulemaking was
You're
bad.
correct. You're absolutely correct. But the more local that is, the more affected it is by the people who are paying the bills.
I agree. Yeah.
In other words, that same scenario, my ability to affect change on a federal level is so insignificant that it's pointless to try. My ability to affect change
able
on
to
a
try.
state level is actually quite reasonable. You know what I mean? On a local level, it's even more reasonable because you actually are live next door to the person who's making the rules. Okay, so that's why if you keep as much money local, you can actually affect change that affects that money or affects how those resources are being used.
Yeah.
But anyway,
But I do want to disagree that you
Uh-oh.
don't have
Not on
an
this
effect
show.
on the national level because I think that people need to call their congressmen and their senators and sign emails and stuff like that because it works sometimes and they need to hear from us. So I think that that's important too.
I agree with you in principle, but I'm very cynical about this. Like we were saying about how our Congress is bought and paid for in D.C. I always say when you vote for a senator or a congressman to send to D.C., you may think you're voting for someone who reflects your values and the issues that you care about. Really, though, all you're voting for is whatever set of lobbyists and special interest groups and
Yeah.
corporate donors own that campaign and that individual. That's what you're really voting for. So
Yeah.
I agree with Gary. It is very tough.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I wish it was more, but I think that because it's hard doesn't mean we should give up.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Never
Yeah.
stop fighting.
No.
Yeah.
But thank you very much, young lady.
Yes, thank you, Jillian.
I said 10. She took 20 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Talker.
20
You
minutes.
should have known that. I was talking to you on the
Well,
street
you're-
bugging
well,
you. So.
And we did establish that she's selfish.
Yes,
Yes.
we did. How did we do that?
Remember? Because she doesn't want all the tax breaks.
Oh,
Oh,
right, yeah, I
yes,
don't wanna
yeah. Oh, yeah. She
All
doesn't
right.
like
Well, thank you
millionaire-
so much.
Hey,
Thank you.
what's the website before you go? I saw a website on that sign that you had.
On this,
Yeah.
our website is what is it? nhcitizenaction.org. But
Okay.
I think this one is checksformillionaires.org.
Oh, okay.
Is that right? I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Checks for Millionaires has more information about where our money is going to millionaires.
Yes.
You guys should have guns, too, by the way, if you want to attract attention.
Yes.
I don't know if
Yes.
that's the kind of attention we want.
Well,
Guns are good.
give it all the consideration it deserves.
Yes.
Thank you,
All right,
Jillian.
thanks, Jillian. All right.
Okay, so anyway, Mr. Burt, what happened in Goffstown over these last few months? This is a Donnybrook going on. I know Russ Day is, I think, mad at you. Was mad at it. Goffstown had 5 seats.
Yes.
8 people were going for it.
Yes.
I know Russ Day was attacked by, I don't know who.
Well, I guess you would have to define attacked.
Well,
You know,
a
were
mailing, a
Yes.
mailing that specifically targeted Russ Day and anybody else?
Well, they didn't target him. What they did is they told what his voting record. Now, they could have done it with better taste. I don't call it negative ads when you say John Burt voted for right to work.
Right.
Yeah, it's just facts.
And a
Yeah.
union sent that out
Yeah.
Yeah.
to try to, bounce me out. Or somebody says Russ Day voted against right to work. And that's basically what this was.
Okay.
Now, they did, write it up where it wasn't, I'm trying to think of the word. They could have used better words and better taste.
Well, I know that my friend Mike McCarthy down in Nashua,
Yeah.
because of his right to work vote, because other than that, he's pretty conservative. I think I don't know what his HRA score is, but it's usually pretty good. They had a big thing. They had, the typical communist
Yes.
fist.
Yeah.
They had the fist in back of him with his picture, and Nancy Pelosi and Obama, and
A little over the top.
okay, this is only because of his right to work vote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, to me, that's negative.
Yeah.
And, so they didn't do that to him because that's what I was presuming.
No. The
Okay.
postcards my wife received, and of course she shared them with me, basically, had a picture with him and said that he voted for this bill and this bill. Now, if there were other ones, I didn't see them.
Okay.
And bottom line, what happened is a few people said I was responsible for them. For one, I don't have the money. And second, I can't sign somebody else's. I mean, it came as paid by this organization.
Yeah.
What was do you know what the organization was?
I should have brought it, and I did not.
Okay.
Apologize.
Okay.
But by the way, we've received a question via text. I don't know if now's a good time, or it kind of goes to what we were talking about a minute ago, actually.
Oh, we should call her back?
Well, no, but
Oh, go ahead.
why do you have her number? No, I'm just kidding. She's married. I
wouldn't give it to you. You son of a-
I'm just kidding. I'm very happy as well. Our friend Moose46 asks, Matt, can you ask, does the government pay the cities and towns money for kids with disabilities and autism?
The federal government, this is my understanding, I don't have the numbers correct, implemented a program to for educating special ed kids.
Okay.
That was a federal program. They had promised to pay, I think, 40-something% of that cost, and require the states and local towns to do it. And if you look at it, I forget how many thousands of dollars. It's a way, way more we are spending for a kid who's special ed than, say, a kid that doesn't require services.
Okay.
But the federal government said they were going to fund 41% of it. They are, I think, funding, and they never have fully funded it, and they're still at around 14%.
Oh, really?
That,
wow.
Yeah,
Whoa.
that's what happens when you get in bed with the federal government.
Right.
They say, you do this program, and we'll give you this much money, and that money never comes, or if it does come, it's only for a short time, and then you're stuck with whatever organization or bureaucracy that you just created
Yeah.
to support their idea that they wanted you to do. But the problem is that a lot of people know this, but a legislature cannot be bound by a previous legislature.
Okay.
So that the legislature in, say, 1980 that promised 40-something%, okay, as soon as they went to the next election, after the next election, that's the new Congress, they're not bound by that previous Congress, so they can fund that whatever they want.
Okay.
Even though they
Interesting.
promised, that was a previous promise that is irrelevant now because that was a previous. It's like almost like a completely different organization, so to speak.
Right. Interesting.
Well, why don't we exercise that?
Exercise what? I don't exercise at all.
Well, I don't.
I think you knew that.
Yeah.
What the hell are you trying to say?
The right to not honor what the past did.
We do. They do. That's what I'm saying. In the past they said we're going to fund 40-something%, and then they turn around and only funded at 14% or whatever it is.
So they honor some of it, but
They
not
just
all
enough
of it.
to keep the ball rolling, so to speak.
Yeah.
But the local towns are absolutely nailed by that.
Hmm.
There's a lot of money for special ed.
There is.
If we spent that much money on the kids that were actually gifted, we'd have a lot of Einsteins running around. But anyway, so that was it, right? Did I
Yep,
get that?
that was his question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, you got it.
See, that's the thing with being a politician that's really cool, is even if I don't know the answer, I can always make something up on the fly.
That's a good skill.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Yes. You had numbers in that and everything. It was great.
did?
Yes, actual numbers.
I wouldn't trust. I wouldn't trust them, but whatever. So anyway, so you had 8 people running for 5 seats.
Yes.
I agree with you. If the attack ad, so to speak, only mentioned Russ's voting record, that's fair game.
It is.
If somebody wants to attack me because I'm too over the top on the Second Amendment or didn't vote for right to work or whatever, that's fine.
Exactly.
If you can't stand and justify or explain how you voted for why you voted for something, then you probably shouldn't be voting that way. You know.
Well, I don't know if you remember the bill I put in about the telephone pole tax. Now they're charging taxes on telephone poles.
Yes.
I put it on my Facebook. I received 2 emails from other legislators that were not very happy, saying, "Don't put my name up there." And I said, "Then you should. If you weren't ashamed of your vote, why do you care?" Because of course I hollered roll call. So I
Right.
wanted to
Yeah,
make
he's
sure.
he's like a total jerk.
Really? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Well, I want the government accountable.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
and that's why I hate him.
Yes, I know.
I know.
And
Accountability.
they were very upset.
Pretty
that
soon
I
he's going to be
posted-
taking a picture of me getting free hamburgers from the unions and stuff.
Probably.
That's
I'd
not
watch
good.
it. He
That's
probably,
not fair.
He probably already has, and you just don't realize it.
Yeah,
he probably has
probably.
you on
Well,
surveillance.
you still have that picture read in your magazine, right?
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
I
Yeah.
love that. That is a good one. That's only New Hampshire.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That gained me like 20 votes. I beat Neil yesterday.
You did?
In Ware, not in Daring, but Ware.
Well,
I
in
did.
2010 I beat Neil, and I think I beat you.
Yeah, but that's because of Goffstown. I'm talking about in Ware.
Yes, okay.
Neil's always beat me in Ware,
Oh,
but this is the first time I beat him like 7 votes or something.
wow, good. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Did he call and
kicking those signs down helped a
Congratulate you?
lot. What?
did he call and congratulate you?
No. No, we're going to go to the general election. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think he is either. But
Well,
any-
luckily I am now, because I was nervous.
yeah, I know you're always nervous. He's nervous last time. Okay, so he has this get together in Ware at in 2000
Sunday before
2010
Yeah.
before the election, and he says he's all nervous because not that many people showed up.
about 35.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
and I told him nobody shows up for this stuff in Ware. It's just they just don't care.
Really?
They do care.
Yeah.
But they don't show up for political things.
Well, but I had Jack Kimball and Ovid Lamontagne, which were 2 huge names that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
no, it didn't.
It really didn't make
Huh.
any difference.
Wow.
I've had my daughter did a spaghetti dinner with Bob Smith, and we had Gordon Humphrey and those guys. And if Lee Quant didn't show up from the Seacoast, I don't think we would have had anybody eating spaghetti.
Wow.
it wasn't that bad, but it was about the same showing as John got.
No kidding.
So he gets his show, and he's like looking, he's getting kind of nervous and stuff. And Pam Manning didn't have much faith in him, and so he says, "Oh, I don't know how I'm going to do tomorrow." I says, "You're going to win." Because it was going to be I knew it was going to be a Republican year. I knew that. I knew 2010 was definitely Republican. I think I spent $25 total on my campaign.
Wow.
And so he says, "Oh, I'm not going to win. I don't know what I'm going to do." I bet you $2 you're going to win. So it took me almost a month to get the $2 out of you.
It did.
It took a while, but I got the $2.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
my wife told me not to bet with you this year, but I would like to bet just in case I am.
It makes you feel safer. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
It'll make
Are
you
you
feel-
superstitious?
It'll make me work harder to know that I don't want to pay him $2.
Right. Right.
Wait, no.
that's right,
That's
it'll be reversed.
that's really you. Jeez.
Yeah, see, I tried to get him tricked.
Yeah, that's not. He's not that sharp. But he's a good vote. But I don't know.
I bet if he BS's something, he won't have any numbers in it.
No,
he's not.
no,
He's not sharp
no,
enough.
he's
to do
not.
that.
He's got to serve a few more turns before you get used to doing that.
Right,
You know. So, anyways, I told you about my friend Mike McCarthy. He got this horrible attack ad. He did. He still won by 10%, but they were going after him because of his right to work vote. And then
Now, who was behind that?
I don't know. I saw the ad.
Oh.
He posted the. Did he email that to me? I don't remember where I saw it. I think it was on Facebook. I think his wife Peggy posted it. I don't know, but I do know. If we want to call this guy, that'd be kind of fun. This New Hampshire Citizens for Truth attacked Bob Meade, wicked bad.
Bob's a nice guy.
Bob's a wicked nice guy. They have. Can I have picture one? This is the attack ad they used against Bob Meade. I got his permission to put this up. Okay, I can't read that from here, but
Bob Meade should be ashamed of taking our tax dollars, and it looks like he's in prison.
yeah. Go to the next one. The next one's even better. This is
Bob Meade should be ashamed.
Oh, my God.
right.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what that's all about is Bob last year was
And
going.
he's not that tall either.
I know. Well, that was one thing. It says it's
He's
supposed to
over
be
6 feet tall.
Really? Yeah.
He's not.
No. It says the Citizens for Truth, right?
Yeah.
In that thing, he was 6'3".
Oh, yeah.
He's about my height, right? 5'9" or something, 5'8", something.
If that, yeah.
5'8". Yeah, so that's a
Wow.
lie right there.
Yeah.
But this is all about is the majority office and the speaker had asked him to go around the state with them and talk about redistricting. Because in the city you probably didn't see any difference, but in the towns, redistricting was supposed to give every town that could its own state representative. But because of the federal guidelines, that would have added too much deviation, and it would have been possible for the Democrats to appeal it to the state Supreme Court and have it overturned. And then
Okay.
we would end up with a state Supreme Court redistricting the state of New Hampshire again. And
Again? So that's happened before?
Yes,
Okay.
back in 2000, that's what happened in
Okay.
2002. And so we knew that was going to happen. That's what they've done before. It wouldn't have mattered what the districts looked like or whether they were fair or not fair. They're going to take it to court. Period. Okay, so we basically had to make sure we crossed the i's and dotted the t's, whichever way we had to make sure it was unappealable. And so it couldn't be too far off the federal deviation, basically how much any one person is represented, and or the state deviation. And to mix those two was this huge, difficult jigsaw puzzle. They finally got it together so both needs were met, so to speak, and that's what we ended up with our redistricting plan. And so they took it to court, and they were unsuccessful trying to overturn that.
Yeah.
Unlike the Texas one.
Unlike the Texas, or unlike back in 2002.
Yes, this one went through.
This one went through, okay? So, anyway, Bob Mead, because it was so confusing, Bob Mead was asked to go around to different towns, stuff like that, with leadership and explain redistricting. At those same meetings, he also talked about recruiting candidates. So, somebody found out about it and said that he was getting basically mileage for politicking,
Okay.
which is wrong.
Yeah.
But he went there to do the redistricting speech, and he did that also. So anyway, he was asked to pay up, and he said no because it was the leadership office that told him to do it, and the leadership office is the one that signed off on his mileage. They could have said no.
Right.
And anybody who knows Bob Mead, when he first got into office, the previous majority office leader was making, I don't know, like $80,000. Chief of staff was making like $80,000 a year. When Bob took it, he only took 40,
Wow.
something like that.
Yes,
it was a
yes.
huge drop because he doesn't need the money. But he took this huge. He resigned his seat as a state rep, and he took a huge cut in pay compared to the previous one. So it's not about the money, but it was about the principle that he shouldn't have to capitulate to pressure, even though leadership had already approved everything.
Yeah.
And so that's the genesis of those ads,
Oh,
saying
okay.
what a huge criminal he is.
Wow.
He's one of the most honorable people in Concord, absolutely, with no question.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the guy that funded those ads. The PAC is this is from the Secretary of State's office.
Okay.
New Hampshire Citizens for Truth. This guy's from Derry. His name is Matt Worthen. His number was kind of weird on the thing. It looked kind of scribbled, like he almost like completed the like an 8.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if it was 339-4453 or 839-4453. You want to try calling him?
Yeah. Let's
see what he's got to say
happens.
about this?
Yeah.
Now, you do know probably the 3,000 or 10,000 viewers you have are probably calling that number.
Huh.
Probably. Oh, but we're quicker than they are.
Well, I guess
We're
so.
right on it. It's ringing. Calling Matt.
The person you have called is unavailable right now. Please try again later.
La persona que usted ha llamado no está disponible en este momento.
No, it's
Ah,
Favor, intente de nuevo más tarde. Message 2.
That's a yeah,
C.
That's a no good number
Yeah.
when you get that.
really?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
the number doesn't exist.
How do you know?
It's in there when you get that message. It's in between people, and it's
Oh,
just
okay.
sitting as
That makes sense because there was no option to leave a message. It was
Yes.
just
Really?
yeah, because there was no voicemail. Should we try the 8? Maybe it is the 8.
You could try it.
And if he has caller ID, he might know it's us calling.
No.
All right, let's see what happens.
But if he sees Matt's name, hopefully that's what comes
No, it
up.
won't come up, Matt. What would it come up at?
I have no idea. That's a very good question.
I'm full of very good questions, Matt.
Wow. All right, nothing's happening.
Okay, nothing's happened on that one.
I don't think that number works.
Yeah, so the 339 is obviously it,
Yeah.
and it's a bogus number.
Now, where did you get that number?
That's off the Secretary of State's office. But this guy, Matt Worthen, is actually friends of a friend of mine on Facebook. But I'm not going to mention them because it's not necessarily any implications.
Was that his real name?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
Because I got a survey call today about if the elections were held today, who would you vote for?
Yeah.
And I answered all the questions, and I said, hey, by the way, before you hang up, who's paying for this? Because they're supposed to tell you. And the guy says, some outside group. I said, like who? You're supposed to tell me. Oh, have a nice day, click.
Wow.
I don't think they meant have a nice day.
No, I don't think so.
No. It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Bob Meade was hacked up by these people. That was the same Ken Hawkins was hacked up by this.
Well, but Bob Meade still won.
Yeah, Bob Meade still won because it's a smaller town, so it's a little bit easier to. I think people knew him,
Yes.
and they knew that the probability of that being correct is ridiculous, and I think probably the ad was so over the top, people thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't know.
especially if you ever met Bob.
Yeah, especially if you met Bob.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this Matt wouldn't have ever got Bob and put him on one of those stretching tables, would they? And maybe he is 6'3" now. I haven't seen Bob in probably 6-7 months.
No, I saw him a while ago. I stopped by there, see how he was doing, and I had a large casing from a artillery piece strapped to the back of my motorcycle. So I stopped by.
Yeah. Of course.
Most people do that, right?
Was it a live round?
No. It wasn't that cool.
I would do that if I rode a motorcycle.
Just walk around, drive around with a big artillery piece in the back. It's good.
Yeah. Why not?
But so anyway, so who won in Goffstown?
The right people won, and I'll tell you who they are. I did. I had 1,085
Wait.
votes.
Well, you said the right people won, then you said you did.
Well, I'm happy with the results.
Okay, that sounds more reasonable.
Yes.
Ivan Beliveau, 926. John Heichel was 770. Richard Meany, 927.
Now, did he get who's top?
I am.
You are?
Yep, I'm the top dog. And then Cal Pratt at 817. John Heichel was the bottom.
Now, John Pratt runs every 2 years, and he puts like no signs, or maybe a couple.
Well, he gave me a few signs that I put up.
Oh, so you put him over the top.
Yeah, I think it was because of my sign placement.
Yeah.
I
He owes
should.
you.
I'm gonna. He does. I'm gonna have to call him and tell him that.
Yeah. He's funny because well, 1 year I think he was sick, but most years he runs, he doesn't really put.
No.
Doesn't seem like he puts any effort into it.
Normally, he's the bottom. He's always, when we used to have 8 reps, he was always number 8.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. Because Goffstown traditionally is Republican.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you in Goffstown, typically, if you won the primary, you won.
Yes.
The only exception to that, I think, was 2008.
Yes.
We let one Democrat get in, one
Yes.
little pesky Democrat.
Yeah. And he was a pesky one.
He was a pesky one. Yes.
But then there was Janet Soderquist, which really nobody knew who she was. I've called her a couple times, left messages, and she was kind of an unknown. She only ended up with 545.
Now, did she put signs up, or
She did toward the end, like the last week and a half.
Okay.
And then Todd Weeks, which is the fireman out of Nashua. And there were some ads against Todd. I wouldn't say they were against, but they just said that he isn't going to vote for right to work. 'cause he's a
Right.
fireman,
Now,
et
how did he
cetera.
do?
629.
Okay.
And then Russ Day, which lost, is 701 next to John Heichel 770. So it was pretty close there.
So John Heichel had to go through some hoops too, because he was getting some hot water in Goffstown.
He was, yeah. And John's a good vote.
He's a good vote.
Yeah, but he did. He was getting a little bit of hot water. And then, from what I understand, there were some ads out on, him.
Oh, there was?
I believe there was. And then there were some mail-ins from Right to Work that only listed 4 individuals, and they didn't list the other 4 because they didn't sign the pledge.
Oh, so Heichel wasn't on that list?
No, he was not.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think that hurt him too because
Yeah, he says he'll vote for Right to Work as soon as we get the Right to Work for the lawyers.
yes, which will never happen.
No. But it's true. He's right.
Yes.
He is absolutely right. Because you have to be a member of the bar to serve in New Hampshire. You have to pay basically union dues.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Oh,
he
it
says,
does. I totally agree. I said, John, that's a great idea, but let's do it next year after we pass the first Right to Work.
yeah, I think we tried that this year, though, last year, didn't we? Trying to get rid of union dues? Yeah, because we did. Because I remember
Yes.
somebody in my committee, they were doing it, and the guy was testifying and stuff, and somebody was testifying against it, and I said, well, isn't this, because I knew who they were, I said, isn't this fundamentally right to work for lawyers?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Not.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that is a strong argument, though. How can you? I mean, really, what do you say to that? If somebody says, "Oh, I don't think so," I mean, how can you really? I mean, they've pretty much won the debate at that point.
pretty much, but it doesn't matter.
I like
We try not to let the truth influence.
every bill Neil Kirk put in almost had something to do with unions.
Oh yeah, I know. Neil was attacking.
I mean, I'm surprised they weren't up to his house, for
Really?
the steak.
Yeah, so they had that attack ad against Bob, and I guess they went against Ken Hawkins.
Yeah, he
That
didn't
same-
do very well.
No, he didn't. He got nailed.
Two-thirds, Andy Sanborn.
Which is weird because Andy moved to Bedford.
He did.
He's a carpetbagger, literally,
Yeah.
and moved just to vote to run there. And Hawkins has been there forever. I don't know what his voting record is though. He's pretty good, I thought.
Well, I think they're pretty close to the same from what the literature I've read,
Right.
on the Second Amendment and other issues.
So it's really weird that Sanborn was able to pull that off.
Well, maybe Sanborn's wife, Lori, she did some sine waves and, good-looking lady.
Maybe.
that-
Did she get back in?
Oh, I don't know.
I haven't checked that.
I did not.
You can't find that out, can you? What
Maybe I've got the
Bedford.
from the Union Leader thing.
Be Hillsborough County.
Hillsborough County.
Yeah, Bedford.
Oh, you know what? It's not.
It's not
All
working.
it's given me is
Just the Senate.
that's
No, we do all the work and the Senate gets the credit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why is that?
Or the blame.
Or the blame.
I don't know how
what county is it again? I'm sorry.
Hillsborough.
Yeah, they beat on us. The news media and the union guys beat on us all year.
Yeah.
And the Senate gets all the credit. It's like, what's this?
Who am I looking for again?
Lori Sanborn.
Lori Sanborn in Bedford. I think they live in Bedford. They
Yes,
moved to Bedford,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, they're renting a house
I've
there.
got Hillsborough County here.
And I believe they're renting their house wherever they're from.
Okay.
Oh, okay, Bedford. Here we go.
Would
Lori
be-
Sanborn. Yep. There she is.
She got in.
Well, he can't tell. How many?
2188.
2188.
That's
What's the nearest competitor? Or was there one?
There's nobody else listed. State
Really?
Rep District 41. Yeah, I don't see anybody else.
Oh, maybe she was running
Unless I
uncontested.
got a.
Oh, well, Ken Hawkins wasn't the rep
Yeah, there's nobody else there.
because he's running for Senate.
Yeah, but they have more. Bedford's got more than one rep. They get a.
Oh, yeah, they would.
yeah,
would
they got-
have, I
they
think,
got Mo-
5. I think they
Mo.
have 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ken Hawkins is their understate senator.
Yeah.
He won.
No, he didn't win.
No?
In Bedford, he won.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're right. Andy Sanborn. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong set of numbers there. Okay, yeah, you're right.
You're fired.
So she again. He fires me every week, John. Do you need help on your show? Yeah. So she's the only one there.
Oh.
Yeah, well, what else happened? What else happened? I don't know who attacked him, but one of my favorite people up there for the last 12 years has been Tony Sultani. Tony Sultani is kind of a firecracker. He's you know how like Steve Valancourt's just kind of attack dog when he gets something.
Yeah.
Sultani is a lawyer out of Epsom who is also similar to that, but he's a lot more on the conservative side.
Really?
A lot more Republican conservative. But he's really not afraid to attack anybody for anything. I remember my second term, and I'm not sure about this, but it was something to the effect that he had been filing a complaint against the speaker because of some of the money the speaker got at his corn roast.
Not the current, yes.
Yeah,
not
Speaker
the current,
Chandler.
Yes, yeah, not the current one.
And he wasn't getting anywhere, so he signed like a petition in front of the state and in front of the full House, asking or signing a petition to get information or something like that. I forget what it was.
That must have went over like a lead balloon.
Oh yeah, wicked bad. Then he says, Gary, will you sign one of these and hand it up there too? You just have to say this, 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 and this. Sure. Because I trusted him. Okay,
Yeah.
He's one of those people I trust. I know he's a little bit crazy, but I know I trust him. So I said, all right, Tony, I'll do that for you. So I get up and I couldn't remember what I was supposed to say. So I looked at the paper and I said, what he said. And everybody laughed and the speaker just let it go.
No, I got along good with Tony.
Yeah, Tony was good. He was sick early in the. A lot of freshmen of last year probably got a bad idea of who Tony was because he was really sick. He's had a lot of medical problems, so he wasn't even making sense sometimes when he got up. But he's been an awesome state rep. He got booted out probably because I sent a letter to the local papers endorsing him.
Mm-hmm.
Now Ray Burton won once again.
Once again, that's a shocker.
Jerry Thibodeau, gave him a good run, but
Not even close though, right?
yeah, no, it was a bloodbath.
Yeah. When somebody's been in there that long, it's kind of sad that you
Well, he's
can't.
the longest executive counselor. Was it 72 when he got voted in?
I don't know. I
73,
wasn't.
74?
I was just still a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he's been in there a long time. It's hard to get somebody like that out unless you get pictures of them with goats,
Yes.
and even then, they get
Depends
it.
how many goats.
How many goats?
Yeah, it
exactly.
really does.
Yeah.
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 Not that I would know.
No.
I don't know anything about goats.
No. Sure you don't.
Just for the
Sheep.
record. Sheep, yeah. Well, I like the wool.
Yeah. Exactly. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. We lost Tony. Another really good state rep was now I'm going to forget his name. Over with Ken Weiler. He's criminal justice forever. I've lost his cotton picking name. I've known him forever too. Really good Second Amendment vote. I forgot.
Huh? I can't.
But yeah, he voted. He was one of the people in leadership that voted against right to work. That was asked to step down by DJ immediately, and then he changed his mind and let him back in.
Yeah, no.
And he's been a state rep for a lot of years. He was chairman of, when I went up there, he was chairman of criminal justice. So
How'd he get bounced?
Same thing, right to work. Yeah, right to work killed a lot of people this primary, because the thing is, I don't think people understand is that, like that ad we showed attacking Bob Meade, it's probably the money came from the same type of group.
Yes.
Because they didn't like Bob Meade, because Bob Meade is not probably going to cooperate with the speaker. I think is probably the genesis of the money. People don't understand is when they see ads like that on these local races, it's really helpful if you consider how much money went into that.
Right.
Like to attack somebody, and I'll give you an example. When I ran for the special election in 2007, when Bruce Hunter passed away, the state funded a mailer. Okay, and they told me they wanted to say that I'm going to Concord because you can't trust those people in Concord. And I didn't do that. They wanted me to say all kinds of things. I wouldn't say it because that was not true. There's actually a lot of really good people in Concord, as you know.
Yes.
I don't personally hang out with any of them, but I'm just know of them. And so I wouldn't say it. So, but anyway, we finally agreed on some language, and they spent like $3,000 get me back in doing this mail, like a glossy mailers are wicked expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know how much each one of those cost, but so when you see these all glossy, fancy pictures of people and attacking them,
Yeah.
stop to consider that that thing probably cost $1 or $2 to get that to you, and somebody with a lot of money is attacking them, and start to think, you got to think for yourself and try to figure out, why are they attacking this guy?
Yeah.
Because it's probably not why. Whatever's listed on there is not necessarily the reason.
Yeah.
Like that attack ad on Bob Meade, anybody who knows Bob Meade knows he's an honorable guy.
Yes.
You know, and so when you see him spending that kind of money attacking somebody, maybe they're attacking him because they're doing something good.
See, I always tell everybody to tell the candidate to say, what are you going to do for us? You know, what's your, you know, your goodness, not attack the other guy.
Right.
Now, if you want to point out, you know, voting records of previous, you know, like the Democrats had the Campen tax, I used that.
Absolutely.
The $30 registration fee, I used that. I said,
Sure.
you elect me, and I'll get rid of that $30, or I'll do everything I can to get rid of that $30 registration fee, and we did.
Well, it was like I was having dinner at the end of the 2010 session before the election, and I was sitting there with some Democrats and Rip Holden
Yeah.
and Tony DeFrucia, and I was talking about that Democrat that was still in that seat in Goffstown.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I can't wait.
Ken Hodges.
Ken Hodges, right. I said, Ken Hodges, he voted for that cotton picking bathroom bill. We're going to use that against him. Oh, that's not right. That's right, he voted for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Facts
the
are facts.
facts are, I mean,
Well, I don't like that.
you know, I don't, like you said, I don't agree with what they did to Bob Meade.
No.
Because that is such a distortion of who he is and what he's done.
And his height.
And his height,
Yes.
yeah, especially his height. Saying
Yes.
somebody's 6'3" when they're only 5'9", I
That's
think is
just
just wrong.
Yep. Unless he's wearing lifts.
Well, yeah, he could have been at high heels.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, exactly. That's even
Pumps.
more. That's even more
Pumps.
scandalous.
Well, now
That's-
you know in November they're going to use this your quote.
That Bob wears pumps.
Yeah, Gary Hopper, a
Said.
representative, said.
Great.
You're right, I blew that one.
That's going to
Man.
go to every home in New
No.
Boston and Mount Vernon.
As long as you don't put goats in there anywhere,
Yeah.
it'll be all right.
See, that's what I don't agree with is you can call people's records up, but really what you should do is just use Photoshop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's so easy. You can do all kinds of cool stuff and to destroy your opponent's character.
Yes.
Because that's what it's really. It's not about how you play the game. It's winning.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
The
absolutely.
ends justify the means.
Of course.
You know.
Otherwise, really, what is there if not winning?
Exactly.
If not winning,
If
what
you're
is
not
there?
winning, then you are losing.
Yes.
You can write
well
me.
Said.
You can
Well
quote me on
said.
that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're like Confucius.
Yeah, I'm confusing.
Yes.
So, anyway, John, thank you very much for hanging out with us
Well,
tonight.
Thanks for having me over.
You're not
Thanks,
as attractive as our other guest earlier. I was
No,
saying,
Jillian,
another personal,
I bet you your viewership
Jillian.
went-
Jillian is her
yeah,
name, yes.
yeah.
Jillian
You gotta
Dubois.
get her name right.
Yeah.
No, she's married.
They don't like that.
Yeah.
No.
No. Yeah, especially when
you
after
say the wrong name.
Yeah, like after 20
that's
years of
right.
marriage or something.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not good. It's
Oh
not-
wow.
Oh yeah.
Awkward. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, you should have, had her not talk, but just sit here next to me. Would have helped my ratings in Goffstown.
Oh yes.
Nothing's going to help that.
No.
Hey, John. Hey, John. Thank you very much. Congratulations,
Thanks, Sean. Always good to see you.
Yeah, Sir Matt. You're all right.
You too, Gary.
We'll see you next. Oh, we won't see you next week.
No, I'll be here. Norm got the dates confused. It's October 17th that I won't be here. I'll be here next week.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. He thought I said September.
Because
I
he
said
told
October.
me tonight that I had to do the 2-hour show next week.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, he still wants you to come on.
Oh. Oh man.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure
anyway,
it out.
we got to go.
Okay.
Bye, bye everybody.